I was traveling around North India and I have visited this temple called, they call it like a Kama Sutra temple in Khajuraho. And when I saw that, I went with my wife and kid. I felt like that temple is built for kind of sex education, like to give sex education to future generation. And it became very famous in the West. What do you think about that temple? Like, what do you say about that temple?
Mostly, again, the conversation always starts with the Western reflected mindset, where we think so it is some sort of sex education. But for people to understand, sex is the very basis of our creation. So we are not supposed to say it as some sort of education. It is something everyone as a human being need to know. That's why around the country, if you see most of the people who built ancient temples, they they depicted the sculptures in a naked form mostly,
Yeah.
showing that this is our the very reality of our life. So similarly, intimate poses were carved in Khajuraho, but rather than seeing the sculptures of the temple, if you see the whole architecture as a wholesome architecture, Kama Sutra is not the only thing that they were trying to tell. There are so many things that they were trying to tell in a form of a temple. And in the ancient times, temple were like centerpieces for everything. It's not like, just for some sort of educational or institutional understanding. They had culture, they had kings and kingdoms, they had everyone need to come, used to come and make it as a center place. So that's how you can see it, rather than just having a Western reflection of how we can understand it.
So, if some person is spiritual, going to the temple is required or is optional? Temple or church, whatever it is.
It's always optional. I think throughout the world it is always optional. And at the same time, there are many temples, there are many cultures where they don't allow everyone to go into the temple also. For example, in Hindu culture, if you see women who are of menstrual cycle, small kids, when the temple is very has some violent form of deities, and yeah, there are so many temples who have narrow cave through which you need to go to have the darshan. So these temples are not really for everyone. So there is always this, no matter which part of the world we go, because temple is not just Indian centric word. I think anything of that holy orientation, either it is religious or cultural. So they always had this expression of building a temple or building a kind of monument which would represent them.
So I have visited many temples like Kashi Vishwanath and Kamakhya temple recently and many Shakti Pitas also on the way when I traveled. I have seen in most of the temple, a priest after making money only, like who sit next to the idol. To see that idol, we go far away, like we travel a lot to just to see the idol. In such idol, like I have visited here other temples also, but everywhere in most of the temples, priests are after making money and they don't afraid of God. Like I felt like they're like they are like they confirmly know that there is no God. They want money only. Like it's like that. So I felt like that. What you think about these temples and these priests?
We need to wake up from that reality. They are not made for that. And it's a very wrong perception to have, God is not watching. If you understand the supremacy of godly origin, you will never say that God is not watching. Because the very culture of this country speaks to you that you don't need to hide anything, or you don't need to understand that, no one is seeing. If you're doing wrong, it will always fall into your pocket of karma. So it's not like, they're not watched. Literally, either they are doing the sin or so-called activities which bring more money or wealth to them. Either they are doing it in the temple or outside the temple. Anywhere, the karma follows. So these people who are behind money, they mostly will never have a satisfied life, or again, even being the priest of the temple, they don't understand the energies of temple.
Yeah, that's what I felt like.
Yeah, it's that's the reality, and it's not an exception to anything around the world recently, because of the times we are in, because of the human evolution that we have gotten into, are clearly defined in terms of money. Temple is no exception, but it depends on the person. Either he sees temple as a, when everyone starts thinking this way, I think even if it is a very famous or very powerful temple, it will have no value. But at the same time, even one person who would understand the value of such a temple would redefine, if they can redefine it, I think the whole value and the whole culture of the temple would come back. So there are so many temples like this, which are very, very famous and well balanced and well maintained. No matter what you say, the priest will never go behind money. And there are so many temples which are quite popular, and the priest and the priesthood has went behind money. So it's a very, vast subject to speak about, where it again falls into the same, same space of everything is going behind money. So the temples even.
So I have visited this Ellora Ajanta. Somewhere I have seen that one. There is one Shiva temple covered inside the huge hill. So I was watching one series called Ancient Aliens. It's a National Geography or something like.
Yeah.
So they say that aliens came to the earth and built that temple. Do you agree with that, or what you?
I don't agree with the Western point of view, because they only see things with the perspective where they think so that everything that they don't know would be of alien made, would be of mystery, would be of mythology. But I don't think so. We need to validate things with their point of view, because they always speak this way. So coming to Indian context, how we can understand this? I think there are millions of linga pratishtas which are done in our country, and they're widely spread in different terrains, different experiences, memories, cultures, and you can't explain them how they would take it on. So I think it's not a wonder when you see a linga which was carved, or which was made in between two hills, which has a very narrow verge to enter. So there are so many hundreds of examples like that. So everything was again defined by your spiritual intention, the practice that you had, which would drive you into that what to say, into that exercise of building a temple, or building an idol, which would give you which would bring everyone a source from where they can access the energies. It could be an initiation to handling your own energies.
So, do you recommend people to go to these temples, very famous temple, where we have to wait for 5-6 hours just to see the glimpse of these idols? Like maybe seconds we will get chance to see this. Do you like recommend, or it's better to sit at home and pray to the God?
I don't think so. You need to go to temple just to pray to God. I think in this country we have the culture of building a temple within the house. Very few countries have this, where you can bring whatever idols you want, whatever puja, traditions you want. So there is an absolute freedom. However you want to build, you can build, and you can do it in your own home. So the very meaning of bringing a temple or making a sacred space within your house means that there is no need for you to go to temple.
Mm.
But it depends on your level of understanding, your level of accessibility to spiritual understanding. Normally you understand things at a different level. When you are really spiritual person, you understand things at a different level. To have that level of spiritual understanding, you need to it's just a inspiring sequence. Going to, for example, in North India, if you see lots of people, they go to Chardham Yatra.
Yeah.
So which is a very ancient tradition. But when you literally demystify what is behind this, they're just going into nature, absolute nature, where the Himalayan region opens into more uninhabitable region. So it almost starts from Rishikesh and Haridwar. It goes till Amarnath, Kedarnath and Badrinath. So you can even consider at the foothills of Amarnath, it goes and stops. Where most of the people, they can't reach till that point. People go halfway, people go they just go for 1 dham, 2 dhams or 3 dhams. They successfully go to 4 dhams. So doing all these things, mostly this was considered and told to be as yatra in India. So when you do this, you definitely acquire an experience which takes you beyond your own human perception. So basically, what is that can teach you that you are you are part of a bigger reality? I think only nature can teach you that. So people who were inspired by this idea, who went into different levels of practices, they were revered, and people built a temple. People built even the temple is called as sthana only, most of the places. Sthala in South India, sthana in North India. So sthana and sthala both literally translates to be stations. So it's a station to an inspiring personality that you think of. It's a memory to an inspiring personality which you revere as gods and goddesses. That's it. And every temple has this effect on you. So recommending people to go to temple is a different thing, because I don't think so I'm in a place to recommend anyone. But definitely there is no need. You can always stay in your own house, and and you can understand whatever the temple does to you. But most of the people, they get carried away with the material world. So to seek darshan, to seek that momentary space of divine interpretation, they go to temples. And that's what this is also a science where in Agama Shastra Agama Shastra, they describe this as Darshana Sutras. So how the idol has to be, how effective it has to be, where the lamp is supposed to be, how clean it has to be, what kind of oil we need to apply, how the dhoti need to be tied. So everything is an organized pattern which would create a momentary, bliss within you, which we call it as darshan. So taking that darshan, taking that memory back, so temple becomes an inspiring faculty for you to lead a more spiritual oriented life. That's it.
So my father do the ritual at home, and we have many different gods and goddesses. So do we need to pray to the only one god, or is it okay to keep all the photos of different gods at home?
Mostly it's better, not to keep any photographs, because any idol, it has to have a shape, and the shape should represent the however it has been it has been coming since ancient times, or you create a humanoid shape to the god or goddess with the inspiring story, with the mantras, with the everyone will have every god will have certain mantras and certain stories which define what they have done in their life. So if you are keeping all the idols, it means that you're just giving a choice for the people in the house to choose anyone god or goddess to be your inspiring faculty. It's just like to be your inspiration to go beyond the material world. So naturally, we have so many gods, and we started as a tribal culture to the most diverse and how to say, most deeper culture to the present day, if you speak of. So there are so many inspiring characters, inspiring faculties. So keeping them and want to give a better choice, we always bring so many gods into the prayer room, or the prayer space that we make. It's not needed once you understand that they are just an inspiring step to your spiritual realm. I think they would go away, and there is no need to bring so many gods and goddesses also. You always once you have the inspiration, I think you yourself become a godly faculty. You don't need any other faculty to, but you would definitely be in a position to respect them, because once you create certain experience within you, you understand all these people, all the gods and goddesses of this country, however you define them, they understood the same reality that you have. So that's where you yourself, or the person who is going to understand this, would become a godly faculty.
I have visited many temples in South India, like Tanjore Temple, Brihadeshwar, like in Meenakshi Temple and all huge temples. Very amazing architecture and all. But as I traveled North India, Northeast India, I have not seen such a magnificent temples. It's a historical question, as you may know.
Yeah, it's very clear. Most of the invasions that happened were from the Islamic side. So they had a access from the present day Pakistan, Afghanistan. They had an access route to come into India. So the first thing that they have got in contact with was northern part of India, because if you see India to be a ancient India. I think northern part of India is quite big, southern part of India is quite small. So they had many temples, and even present day Bangladesh have, present day Pakistan and some parts of Afghanistan also they had. I think everyone knows they had huge Buddha statues, huge temples, huge. There are when we get into that, there is no end to it. Again, it's a different topic. But they had enough temples to literally scale about and speak about the culture. I think they were just exploited by these invaders. And southern Indian temples were kept intact. To some point, they were closed from the invaders, and because North India has been exploited in terms of temples and culture, southern India kind of preserved those values. Mostly, they did all the invasions for the sake of wealth. So southern Indian temples, they have emptied the wealth of the temples. Somehow they have deviated the rulers, Islamic rulers, not to literally go behind and destroy these temples. But I think they have successfully destroyed many temples in south also. If you see many parts of Karnataka,
Hampi and
yeah, they were literally destroyed. So even south had many invaders in terms of destroying temples. So north has had a more exploitive activity rather than southern part of India.
which is the one of the amazing temple you have visited so far?
I think almost all the temples are unique. So there is no point of giving a statement to a temple that this is the most amazing one, because there's so many dimensions to understand. For example, if you see the most famous temples in the country, they're definitely inspiring, but most of the time you will never get never get that intimate experience in these temples, because you always see people going behind these temples and asking for some wish, something that they want to achieve in life. So they are always in these temples, and you never get that intimate experience of that temple or darshan. So I think if you ask me, every temple is equally important. It depends on how you turn your experience into. Most amazing temples and famous temples, if you can have an intimate experience there, I think that would be a very amazing experience for anyone.
It may be different, for each person.
Yeah, for each person. But any temple, even a small temple, is also very effective. Because, for example, you are doing puja, or, abhisheka in a small temple, which is for naga devatas, or which is for small deities even. So you are doing, even for linga also, you are doing puja on a daily basis for years. So when you are doing this activity constantly, at some point the whole pattern of the way you do things will be your inspiration. Maybe you go around and see so many temples around the country, around the world. You will never have that experience. But the smallest temple near to your village or near to your house, inside your house also, would give you that experience, because it will become quite intimate to you. where you basically, that's what, you go very near to the truth, or you go very near to the moksha, the path of moksha. So that's what it is made for. It's a mediation for you to understand the higher realm of life and life reality.
I have visited one temple near our house, like is called as a Moodabidri 1000 pillar temple. Me and my cousin visited, and both of us, when we stand near this Garbhagraha, we went beyond body and mind. Like it's like a mind, stopped. Like thoughts are stopped for a while. Have you felt something anywhere in it?
Yeah, many times. Even without a temple, also I feel that. And it can't be defined as extra body and extra mind experience, but it is definitely beyond human understanding, which again takes you to the bigger reality, the higher reality. Even there also we are the same. We are no different. Either we live in our own reality, which we call it, which we strictly define with the boundaries, and we are the same when we cross that. So especially temple, or anything as a divine entity, is a source to mediate you into that realities. So when you go to certain like for example, you say 1000 pillar temple. So the whole architecture of temple, which would be obviously the Vastu Shastra and the Agamas and the architecture by Sthapatis, everything would be done in a very specific way, where the geometry would be aligned. And the geometry is aligned for many reasons. One reason is for the strength, second reason is for the beauty, third reason is for the to create a physical illusion inside you. So using all these, there were shastras before. They were not defined statements, or or a form of cult art. They were shastras, and Brahmins and the revered castes who used to know scriptures, and they used to teach them, and people used to learn from them how to how to create such things. So when you enter into that sort of creation, which is built thousands of years, so you access so many things. So which gives you again the same momentary experience, which takes you into that blissful moment, which you think so that is like extra body or extra mind experience. But that's again ours, because when we are understanding that we are going away from body and mind, it means that still we are the same, right?
Yeah.
We just understood that this is somewhere beyond us, but it still that's our experience only.